this ArriveCan stuff's really picking up steam in a good way.
Yeah, on the topic of limos, these guys.
Gosh. So apparently 1,700 emails containing important information on Trudeau's $60 million ArriveCan contracting have mysteriously disappeared as they've been doing investigations into what's going on with ArriveCan. You know, last year when the Liberals had Hillary Clinton come and speak at their convention, she must have slipped Justin some pointers like, all right, this is how you get rid of real emails. This is how you do it the real way. Now 1,700 emails from ArriveCan and just gone. Poof. Don't know where they're at. And the Conservative Party is putting mad pressure on the Liberals right now. It's getting interesting. And then more and more is coming out. The Auditor General has come out. And what she said was, I would say, nothing short of an absolute indictment on what the heck has been going on here with our funds.
I have to say that I am deeply concerned by what this audit didn't find. We didn't find records to accurately show how much was spent on what, who did the work, or how and why contracting decisions were made. And that paper trail should have existed. This audit shows a glaring disregard for basic management and contracting practices throughout ArriveCan's development and implementation.
It's because it did exist. They just Enroned it and totally burnt everything and deleted everything and purged their systems. Like, I'm just picturing people in Parliament just like pulling the hard drives and just beating them with a hammer. Like, they're not going to find it.
You think that's what happened, eh?
Oh yeah, they were throwing hard drives in microwaves and like, oops, yeah. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if like a government building just mysteriously burnt down. Like, it's just, yeah.
It's crazy what's happening with this. And I think it's really important, as you said, to keep putting the heat on this because we cannot let them get away with whatever happened with this. The company in question, who is called GC Strategies, who was a big portion of whatever happened with the ArriveCan, 4 guys in some cottage in Muskoka somewhere, received close to $96 million in contract work from this government over the last 8 years.
I thought it was closer to 250 million. I thought that was
actually that was a misprint by La Presse.
Okay.
It was 250 million dispersed amongst a bunch of different contractors. This specific company received 140 contracts that equal $96 million. They did a reprint on that, or retracted that. Mm-hmm. So, yikes! Who are these guys? Who are them? What are they? What's their connection to the Liberal Party? What's their connection to Trudeau? What's their connection to any type of MP? How did you get 140 contracts equaling that amount of money for a company that's 4 people? And now we have a standing committee who are looking into it, and it got interesting today. I'm gonna keep you up to date with what's happening. So today, Pierre Poilievre does a big speech at a local pharmacy, talks about a bunch of different things, and says that the Conservatives have summoned the people who run this company to come and talk to committee and be questioned on what they've done with the money, how they got the money, what they did with it, this, that, the other. They summoned them twice. Didn't show up. They said, "No, we're good. We're not going." So starting yesterday, so by yesterday I mean Tuesday of earlier this week, the Conservatives put a motion forward to have these guys, the sergeant at arms, go get them and arrest them to bring them into Parliament, which hasn't happened since 1913 in this country. What the heck? And so the Conservatives are trying to put this motion forward in committee, and the Liberals have been filibustering it for the past 3 days. Mm-hmm. There was one MP that talked for 35 minutes straight, trying to waste time. Wild what's happening. They're like, "Oh yeah, we know, we want to get to transparency, this, and I'm going to talk about transparency for the next 35 minutes and keep talking. And what happens is committee goes from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock Eastern. And if they get to 4 o'clock, they have to end committee, they move on, and they have to wait till the next day to be able to bring this motion forward again. There's no, we're going to go late and we're going to do this vote. There's none of that happening. It starts at 1, ends at 4. And the Liberals know the game. They've been filibustering the whole time. Hopefully this motion gets voted on by the end of this week. But right now it's rough.
Yeah, if I was GC Strategies, I'd be getting on a plane. I'd be heading somewhere south. And being like, nope, we got our money from Canada, from the taxpayers. We're gone. And it's interesting because like that's one of the biggest things that the Liberals call the Conservatives on, because the Conservatives do it. They'll filibuster things, mostly because they don't have the power right now, and that's the only play that they've got. But yeah, it's the hypocrisy of that, like, oh, you know, like they do this and they delay due process and blah, 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 blah. The Conservatives bad. And then they do the same thing. They do the exact same thing. Or they'll actually dismiss things. They'll dismiss guests. I know when they were bringing, I think it was the RCMP into question, they actually voted on a motion to have the RCMP like dismissed from the meeting. and the Bloc Québécois, the NDP, and the Liberals all voted to have that meeting adjourned. And it was like, are you serious? So I'm kind of not surprised that this is happening with ArriveCan, honestly. It's not the biggest scandal they've been embroiled in that is just, I don't know, it's SNC-Lavalin, it's We Charity, it's now ArriveCan. How many more of these we're going to see? Like, how many are going to come out of the woodwork once Trudeau's out of office too? And do we have any ability to pull that man back and say, actually, no, we're going to put you on trial and hold you accountable for the ways that you've misused Canadian funds?
Yeah.
Because if you were a private company, like you would be in hot water.
Yeah.
And you could be charged and sued.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you should be able to apply that to the government too.
Which could happen in GC Strategies here.
Yeah.
Like they are going to probably eventually they get their hands on them, they're going to get wrecked harder than Trudeau ever will.
Oh yeah.
Which is so brutal that that's the way things work in this country. And I do agree. It's never happened, at least from my understanding. I could be wrong, but it needs to happen. As soon as Trudeau's out of office, I know likelihood of it happening, very slim, but I want to see it happen. That we go after every Liberal MP, anyone who is directly associated with Trudeau and Trudeau himself, we take him to court and find out everything that's ever been done, all the misuse of funds, everything. It's got to be brought to light. The only reason why it won't happen is because those in the Conservative Party are part of kind of the establishment. Like, oh, they could do this to us, and we can't let that happen. So they're going to let them off scot-free.
Yep. And
that's what ticks me off. That's what annoys me as a Canadian citizen. And why no one in politics, until they show me different, is going to stand up and do the right thing. Right now, they're showing us at different points they will do something right. But until that happens, and they do something where it could come back on them later, but they still do it anyways, that's when they'll get my full absolute respect. But right now, I'm still cautiously optimistic around politicians in this country.